right. So Melania Trump has been in the news a lot lately. I was talking about her in the monologue, and she's on the cover of Us Weekly with this cover, my side of the story. But they left out my favorite feature in Us Weekly, which is the 25 things you don't know about me. Do you read about this? I hope I inspire little girls everywhere to marry for money. Oh, that's so sweet. I copied this list from Michelle Obama. Well, that's... And finally, new rule, Melania Trump must do what dozens of buildings around the world have done and take the Trump name off.
And the voters, they get it. They've read it, they get it. And it's already come out. Every single channel is calling it election interference. Ready?
It's not anti-feminist to say that in addition to doing everything men can do intellectually, women also have another power, the power of the ultimatum.
Trump's having a meltdown, and nope, it's not because of global warming. This time, it's over Bill Maher's latest comedy bit about Melania Trump. Seems like the former president can dish out the jokes, but when the spotlight turns on him, he's not laughing. Before we dive in, I have a quick favor to ask. If you enjoy this content, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of viewers watch without subscribing. It's free for you, but it makes a huge difference for us. Did you hit that button? Awesome, thanks. Now let's get back to it. Maher recently poked fun at Melania, joking that her favorite movie is The Great Escape. But let's be real, the real escape artist here is Trump, especially when it comes to handling jokes about himself. Stick around to see how a few laughs somehow turned into a $150 million lawsuit. Bill Maher is at it again, and this time, Melania Trump is in his comedic crosshairs. The former First Lady became the target of Maher's sharp humor, and let's just say he did not hold back. He started by taking us on a little trip down memory lane, reminding everyone of Melania's modeling days. But he didn't stop there. Oh no. He took it a step further, comparing her life now to a prison sentence. Talk about a wild career shift, right?
Melania Trump has been in the news a lot lately. I was talking about her in the monologue, and she's on the cover of Us Weekly with this cover, my side of the story.
And it was 3 against 1. Trump got humiliated by Kamala, the moderators, and by himself, primarily.
And the voters, they get it. They've read it, they get it. And it's already come out. Every single channel is calling it election interference. Ready?
What if she had someone to do it with? Divorce is always easier in pairs. What if you had a buddy, Melania? You are not to ever again mention the bride catalog's return policy.
The comedian had the audience roaring when he dropped this gem. Apparently, Melania's favorite movie is The Great Escape. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure that's not exactly on the list of must-watch films for a happy marriage. Maher painted a hilarious picture of Melania secretly planning her big escape from Trump Tower, complete with a tunnel dug using a spoon she swiped from the Mar-a-Lago kitchen. But wait, there's more. Maher decided to share a little fun fact about Melania's hidden talent. According to him, she can hold her breath for a solid 90 seconds. Now, most people would find that impressive, but leave it to Maher to flip it into a punchline. He joked that this skill might actually come in handy in the Trump household. I'll let you piece that one together, folks. As the routine went on, Maher cranked up the heat. He started poking fun at Melania's obvious discomfort during her time in the White House. It's like he wanted to convince us that living in a massive mansion with a staff catering to your every whim isn't as glamorous as it seems. Who would have thought, right? But he wasn't done yet. The comedian had one more zinger up his sleeve.
And finally, new rule, Melania Trump must do what dozens of buildings around the world have done and take the Trump name off.
If you're going under for surgery, the last thing you want to hear your doctor say is, "Don't worry, I'm mentally stable and, like, really smart."
You're married to the man who runs Fox News. You're married to the man who made Brexit happen.
He went on about crowd size and how Biden is to blame for his crowds not being big, and then his teleprompter went out.
You used to be married to Mick Jagger, and now you're married to a guy who looks like Keith Richards let himself go.
In a moment of fake sincerity, Maher looked straight into the camera and said, "You know, your unhappiness is obvious. You despise his creepy little monkey fingers touching your hand. Maybe it falls to you now, Melania. You can end this reign of terror. Now, I'm no relationship expert, but I'm pretty sure that's not the kind of advice you'd find in a marriage counseling book. As Maher's routine hit its peak, he decided to give Melania some career advice. Forget modeling or being first lady. According to him, her true calling is an escape artist. He had the audience picturing Melania channeling her inner Taylor Swift, shaking off the Secret Service and making a run for it. The crowd's reaction was a mix of groans and laughter. Some were clutching their pearls while others were practically falling out of their seats. But the big question remained, what would Trump think of all this? Well, folks, it looks like our favorite orange-tinted ex-president just couldn't resist taking the bait. While everyone else was laughing at Maher's jokes, Trump was throwing a temper tantrum that would make a toddler proud. And trust me, it was a doozy. Now, picture this. Trump probably sitting on his golden toilet, scrolling through his phone when he stumbles across news of Maher's comedy routine. You'd think that after years of being roasted, he'd have thicker skin by now, but nope, not our Donnie. He's about as tough as a snowflake in July. So what does the former leader of the free world do when someone makes fun of him and his wife? Does he laugh it off like a normal person? Of course not. He runs straight to his favorite playground Truth Social to have a meltdown. And let me tell you, it's one for the books.
It's not anti-feminist to say that in addition to doing everything men can do intellectually, women also have another power, the power of the ultimatum.
When a prize fighter loses a fight, the first words out of his mouth are, "I want a rematch." Polls clearly show that I won the debate against Comrade Kamala Harris.
They rigged the election. The election was rigged. I didn't rig it. They did.
He's actually right about some of that. He didn't rig the election. He tried to rig the election.
Is there anyone left who can check Donald Trump? Yes, Melania.
Trump starts ranting and raving, demanding an apology from Maher. An apology? Can you believe it? It's like he thinks comedians should run their jokes by him for approval first. Hey, Donnie, here's a news flash. Comedians don't apologize for jokes, especially not to thin-skinned politicians. But wait, it gets better. Trump claims he's never even watched Maher's show. Yeah, right, and I'm the Queen of England. If he's never watched it, how does he know what jokes were made? Does he have a crystal ball? Or maybe he's got a team of minions whose only job is to watch comedy shows and report back whenever someone makes fun of him. Honestly, I wouldn't put it past him. Not content with just whining, Trump decides to pull out his favorite toy, the threat of legal action. Because nothing says I can take a joke like threatening to sue a comedian, right? It's like he's trying to lawyer his way out of being the punchline. Spoiler alert, Donnie, it doesn't work that way. But Trump wasn't done yet.
Maybe it falls to you now, Melania. You can end this reign of terror, and all you have to do is channel your inner Taylor Swift and walk out the door.
Being like really smart is not the same thing as being really smart, sir.
The man who got Trump elected and keeps his base ignorant. The man who killed Australia's carbon tax. I know he's rich, but is it worth Western civilization? But they left out my favorite feature in Us Weekly, which is the 25 things you don't know about me. Do you read about this?
And failed to rig the election. He's a rignoramus is what he is.
Oh no, he had to take it even further. Trump didn't just throw a fit. He rallied his supporters, getting them all fired up over a comedy routine. It's like he's got an army of angry Oompa Loompas ready to defend his honor at a moment's notice. And boy, did they show up flooding social media with outrage. Now here's the kicker. Experts are saying Maher's jokes really struck a nerve with Trump. Apparently they hit a little too close to home, exposing just how fragile his public image really is. It's like Maher found Trump's Achilles heel in surprise. It turns out it's his entire personality. This whole meltdown feels like deja vu. Remember all those times Trump lost it over SNL skits? Or when he couldn't handle a little roasting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner? It's like clockwork. Comedian makes a joke, Trump throws a tantrum, comedian gets even more attention. You'd think he would have figured out the pattern by now, but nope, he keeps falling for it every single time. It's like he's allergic to laughter that isn't directed at his own jokes. And let's be honest, I use the word jokes very loosely here. We're talking about a guy whose idea of comedy is coming up with childish nicknames for his political opponents.
Your unhappiness is obvious. You despise his creepy little monkey fingers touching your hand.
Still trying to convince the MAGAverse that he didn't blow it on Tuesday night against Kamala Harris, even though he is clearly terrified of facing her again.
Because there's another former model who's also married to a super-rich Republican monster, Mrs. Rupert Murdoch, Jerry Hall.
They rigged the election. I didn't rig the election. They rigged the election. What they do is they rig the election, and then they go around getting people and persecuting people and prosecuting people that did nothing wrong.
Well, well, well. Looks like our grumpy Trumpy just became Bill Maher's biggest fan without even realizing it. Who would have thought that the king of You're Fired would end up being the best thing to happen to Maher's career since the last time he made fun of Trump? Here's the deal. Trump throws a tantrum demanding an apology from Maher, and suddenly everyone is talking about it. It's like when a toddler has a meltdown in the grocery store. You know you shouldn't encourage it, but you just can't look away. And boy, did people watch. Media outlets jumped on the story faster than Trump grabs a Big Mac. CNN, MSNBC, even Fox News, they all wanted a piece of the drama. It was like Christmas morning for the 24-hour news cycle. They played clips of Maher's show on repeat, dissected every joke, and brought in countless experts to weigh in. Because apparently we need experts to tell us that jokes are funny and Trump can't handle criticism. Meanwhile, Maher's ratings started climbing faster than Trump's blood pressure after a Twitter ban. Turns out there's nothing Americans love more than a good old-fashioned roast of Donnie Diapers. Who knew? Oh, right, everyone.
Toss his boxy clown suits on the front lawn. Just tell him I'm leaving you and I'm taking our child. He would be stunned. We have a child?
He continued. I went from very successful businessman to top TV star, ...
Donald Trump concede. You'd think he would concede. He's the most conceited president we've ever had, but...
So far, over a dozen Republican candidates tried to stop Trump and couldn't. Hillary couldn't. Never.
But wait, what happened to this guy?
Anytime, anywhere, anyplace.
Somehow he went from anytime, anywhere, any place to there will be no third debate.
Social media was buzzing louder than Mar-a-Lago's bug zapper on a hot Florida night. Clips from Maher's show were being shared faster than those "Is this your king?" memes after the 2020 election. Twitter exploded with hashtags like Champ Maher's Orange Turd and Trump Tantrum Time. It was like watching a wildfire of comedy spread, and the best part, Trump was the one holding the matches. But the fun didn't stop there. Other late-night hosts saw what was happening and decided to jump in. Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, Seth Meyers, they all started piling on with their own Melania jokes. It turned into a full-on comedy arms race with each host trying to outdo the others in roasting Trump. Of course, Trump's loyal followers weren't about to let this slide. They called for a boycott of HBO faster than you can say "Kovfef," because nothing says we support free speech like trying to silence a comedian for making jokes. Good luck with that, folks. I'm sure HBO is shaking in their boots at the thought of losing viewers who probably don't even know how to cancel their subscriptions anyway. But here's the best part. Instead of backing down, Maher doubled down. He started making even more jokes about the Trump family. It was like watching a comedian play whack-a-mole with the entire Trump clan. Don Jr., Eric Ivanka, no one was safe. Maher was on fire, and Trump's outrage was just adding more fuel to the flames.
And you two have a lot in common. Your husbands are ruining the world.
The voters and voter polls showed it, but the fake news media wasn't giving the credit that was due. Wow. Remember, I wasn't debating one person, I was debating three. They should fire everybody at ABC Fake News. He really can't. He won't because he can. In fact, tonight, he emerged from wherever he's been hiding to take one more shot at choking democracy to death. According to Rolling Stone, members of Trump's inner circle think another debate would be a bad idea. They say his performance was so disappointing, he doesn't know whether to call it Eric or Don Jr. at this point.
Getting men to change their destructive ways by threatening to leave them, humiliate them, or cut them off in bed.
Look, I'm a very stable genius. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's past my cheeseburger's bedtime. Let's go.
As the dust settled, Maher found himself sitting comfortably with some of the highest ratings he had seen in years. Turns out all he needed to boost his viewership was a little help from his favorite punching bag. Who says bipartisanship is dead in America? Just when you thought the Maher-Trump comedy circus could not get any crazier in walks, Laura Loomer ready to steal the spotlight. Now, if you are wondering who Laura Loomer is, do not worry. You are not alone. She is like that distant cousin at family reunions that everyone pretends to remember but secretly Googles under the table. Here is the deal. Bill Maher, not satisfied with just roasting the Trumps, decided to throw a joke Loomer's way. He joked about her having a special connection with Trump. Now we all know comedians exaggerate for laughs, right? Well, apparently Loomer did not get the memo. She completely lost it. Loomer claimed Maher's joke was out of line and a blatant lie. I mean, come on, Laura, have you ever watched comedy before? It is not exactly known for sticking to the facts. But, nope, she was not having any of it. In true Trump-like fashion, she demanded a public apology from Maher. But wait, there is more. She also insisted on being invited to appear on his show. Because nothing says I am offended quite like demanding more airtime, right? It is like complaining about a restaurant's food and then asking for seconds. But hold on to your MAGA hats because Loomer was not done yet. She went full nuclear and hit Maher and HBO with a lawsuit for a whopping $150 million. Yes, you heard that right, $150 million.
And we got a hold of Melania's. It's not in this magazine, but it's coming out soon. Would you like to hear Melania's 25 things you didn't know about?
Dodging a debate makes him look like the coward that he is. So, and she challenged him to another one immediately. He wants no part of it.
The Melania's list. I don't know if you'd like to. But these are her rules.
I think that would qualify as not smart, but genius. ...
Also, I think it's worth mentioning that people who are mentally stable generally don't announce it.
The teleprompter just went out.
The President of the United States, I'm a fashion.
For a joke, I guess inflation is hitting the lawsuit market hard these days. Loomer's lawsuit claims she suffered unfair ridicule and damage to her reputation. Now, I am no legal expert, but you need to have a reputation before you can lose it. But hey, what do I know? I am just a humble comedy writer, not a judge. As you might expect, social media exploded faster than Trump's temper at a fact-checking convention. Memes about the alleged Loomer-Trump relationship spread like wildfire. Twitter was flooded with hashtags like Loomer Lover and Trump's Tinder Nightmare. It was like watching a train wreck in slow motion, except the train was made of memes and the tracks were paved with retweets. But here's the best part. Instead of silencing Maher, the lawsuit just gave him more material to work with. It is like trying to put out a fire with gasoline-soaked dollar bills. Maher happily made the lawsuit part of his next show. He joked that he was honored to be sued by such a well-respected public figure. The sarcasm was so thick you could spread it on toast. He even thanked Loomer for the free publicity, saying he had not gotten this much attention since he suggested that maybe Trump's hair is not 100% real. The audience loved it, eating it up like the last slice of pizza at a frat party. Other comedians could not resist jumping on the Loomer bandwagon. Jimmy Kimmel joked that Loomer was suing for emotional distress caused by excessive laughter. Stephen Colbert suggested starting a GoFundMe to help Loomer buy a sense of humor.
So kick him to the curb. Slap away that hand for good.
Trump had a spin out last night on his website, Pravda Social. He wrote, "People are just starting to give me credit for having a great debate."
And a very stable genius at that. Yes.
The Tan Andreas fault, our former president, Donald Trump, is cracking under pressure. His tectonic plates are moving a lot lately. He's nice, even for a few seconds, to be rattled by something other than the election this morning.
Even the usually calm and easygoing Jimmy Fallon joined in. Though his joke was so mild, it probably wouldn't offend a newborn kitten. Well, folks, it looks like Bill Maher just gave Trump a masterclass in how to take a joke. Who would have thought that a comedian with a microphone could be more powerful than a guy who once had access to nuclear codes? But that's the magic of political satire. It's like kryptonite for oversized egos. Remember when Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert used to make politicians sweat in their seats? Maher is keeping that tradition alive. And Trump? Well, he just keeps adding fuel to the fire with his tantrums. It's like watching a toddler try to pick a fight with a stand-up comedian funny, but also a little sad. So here's some free advice for anyone thinking about a career in politics if you can't handle a few jokes. Maybe pick a job where people only laugh with you, not at you. Orange, you glad you're not Trump right now? See what I did there? I'll show myself out.